Hello everyone. In this video we will learn how to scan files for threats using the advanced iteration of the Cloudmersive Virus Scan API in Power Automate. Before we get started, it's important to note that we'll need to upload the Cloudmersive Virus Scan API to Power Automate as a custom connector to use the advanced scan iteration. The custom connector upload process is super straightforward, and we walked through that process in another video on our channel. In this walkthrough, we are going to set up an instant Cloudflow with a manual trigger so we can have full control over our data. The objective of our flow is to check each individual file in a particular folder for hidden threats that a virus scanner might not pick up on, such as disguised executables or specifically crafted invalid files. These types of threats can do just as much damage as any virus can, and they're very easy to overlook. In the first two steps of our flow, we will use two actions from the SharePoint connector called list folder and get file content. These actions will collectively retrieve file information and file bytes from our target folder. We will select the SharePoint folder we want files from using the list folder action, and we will then use the unique file identifier values that action collected to pull an array of file bytes with our get file content step. By default, Power Automate will place our get file content action in a for each control when we enter the file identifier array. Within this for each control, we will now add our advanced virus scan action. To find it, we will first use the runtime dropdown to navigate to our custom connector window. This brings up all the custom connectors we've uploaded in the past. We'll simply select our custom virus scan connector, and once we reach the actions list, we'll select the very first action called Advanced Scan a File for Viruses. We will then configure this action like any other file processing action. We'll pass our file byte strings to the input file body field, and we'll pass our file name strings to the input file field. That's all we need to do, but we can also look at a few of our advanced parameters if we want to as well. Here, we can decide to override some of the advanced scan threat rules if we want. For example, if we wanted to overlook macro-enabled documents, we could set the Allow Macros dropdown to True. I certainly would not recommend doing that, but the option is there. Moving down a bit, we can also enter a comma-separated list of restricted file types to block files entirely based on the file extension. For example, if we entered .pdf, we would categorically flag all PDF documents in our target folder. This feature is more targeted at uploads, but it could work in this context as well. At this point, we've asked Power Automate to scan each individual file in our target folder for a wide range of different content threats. When files are tagged as dangerous, they'll receive a clean result false response from the API. If we set up a simple condition, we can easily pivot our flow based on whether files contain potential threats. We can set the body clean result value to false, and any files that get flagged will enter the true branch of our condition. Let's see this in action now. We will save and test our flow exactly as it is, understanding we don't have any actions set up in the true or false branches of our condition currently. When our flow finishes running, we will have one unique response for each file in our target folder. In my example, my folder had 6 files, so that's why we're seeing 6 flow runs. My folder also happened to have multiple dangerous files that I use for API testing, and all of them got flagged here. It's super important to stay vigilant about files living in our system, and this flow makes it possible to scan files before we do anything else with them. And with that, we've reached the end of this video. If you have any questions for us, please feel free to reach out to any member of our team.